Trying to see if this is on. Ola from the West Side. It is your girl DC, the Purple Diva, and still can't live stream straight through on my mobile app for YouTube, but this will be my second time on here using the Streamlabs, and I'm doing this daytime chat, just popping in here, not really expecting anybody to come in, but I'm really doing this one because I've talked about childhood safety a couple of times, and I'm at work, but I work from home, guys, so I've talked about child safety at school, and you know, teachers not being able to, you know, touch the children in several of my live streams, and I also talked about it in a video that I put out there. But today, here in Southern California this morning, we unfortunately had another school shooting. It happened in the Santa Clarita Valley, and it was a 15-year-old student at the school who committed the crime. One student is dead, and two other, I believe the student that is deceased was a female student, and then there's two males that are critically injured. And as you come into this, please thumbs up. Hey, Baylor Dump Queen. Yeah, it is really, really sad. I'm like, our kids aren't even safe at school. And I'm in Southern California, and we're just like, last week we just commemorated the 1-year anniversary of the Borderline shooting, which was a shooting at a bar that was mainly college kids. So 12 people died last year in a shooting at a bar not too far away from where the shooting happened today. It's just really, really sad. And the teachers are, you know, not allowed to intervene in anything, but I'm assuming in the situation like this, the only thing that they could do is try to protect the other students and try to get them off the campus. But this literally happened this morning when students were arriving to school. And they haven't identified the student yet, but all they have said is that he's 15 years old, and they've given his ethnicity as being Asian. So that's the only information that they put out there. And so I just wanted to really come on here and just really, you know, just talk about this just for a second, because this is just, it's just so sad, you know. Our kids can't even go to school and feel safe. There's not any place that they can feel safe. You know, they're supposed to be able to get an education, and they're not even able to do that. They're not even able to do that. And if you see me looking, it's because I'm looking at my computer for work too. Yeah, it's just horrible out here. It's just horrible out here. So I wanted to really just pop on here. You know I don't normally come on during the daytime, because I still can't come on my computer, but I decided to try to do this from my phone today, and I can see the chat pretty good, so that's a good thing. How are you doing? Yeah, see, that's the thing, is that on every campus, especially out here in California, and I know that there are kids on that campus that are special needs. We don't know if the student that did this was on the spectrum. I pray that they were not. And I just pray that all of the students at that school, are able to go on, because they're, a lot of them are going to be suffering from PTSD, because of this. I mean, the same thing happened with those kids at the school in Florida, and it's really more traumatic for the students when it's one of the other students that's doing, this. Yep. Yeah, they started hearing the gunfire like first thing in the morning. Some of the students were in the office because they did actually have some of the students come and interview on TV, and some of the students were literally like in the office at the front of the school, so they were able to get out. The majority of the kids were out of there, but they don't know what the intent of the shooter was. But he hit 3 people. First, they were saying it was 6 people, but it turned out to only be 3 people. But one of those 3 people is dead, and we don't even know if the shooter is dead or alive. I don't know if there was a resource officer on campus, because immediately the police were there. The sheriff's department was there, because that's who gave all of the news reports this morning on this. And a lot of the campuses, even if they do have a resource officer on campus, it may not be an actual like sheriff or police officer, so they may not have a gun. Hey, Latoya, how are you? Yeah, I just jumped on here in Streamlabs because talking about this shooting out here at one of the high schools here in Southern California. And I mean, it's still all over the news. That's what we're seeing in Southern California. We're not even seeing the impeachment hearings here in Southern California. They're focusing on what's going on with this kid. So, and that's probably a blessing in disguise. Guys, you know me and my coffee. and you have to think about this. I mean, I'm just thinking about it from the perspective that on most campuses, special needs students now are being more mainstreamed. So you're going to have kids who have special needs in that general population too. And I can only imagine, what's going through their heads, especially if they are someone who is a nonverbal person on the autism spectrum. So I really, really hope that they're going to have some resources for these students, Well, it's LA County, so I'm sure that there was an officer on scene, because all of the information is coming from the LA County Sheriff's Department. But I just don't know the details. They're giving out limited details, obviously. But it's scary. Kids can't go to, it's like they can't go to elementary school. They can't go to middle school. They can't go to high school, because we've had shootings on all levels. We've had a shooting at schools at all levels. And obviously, this is just going to push the people who are, spouting for gun control to be firmer about it. But guns are not the issue. It's the people who have the guns. And I don't think that people that are spouting that we need to have all this tough gun control understand that in tightening up our gun laws, what it will do is it will make it so that people who are law-abiding citizens can't get a gun. Because the criminals will still get their guns. Trust and believe, they will still get a gun. Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Because I know when they had the Sandy Hooks shooting, which was at an elementary school, some of those kids were special needs that were at that school. Yeah, I know. You got to be safe with it. Hey, Joyce Chit Chat, how are you? I'm talking about the high school shooting that happened this morning here in Southern California in Santa Clarita. And that's also in the same area where one of the fires happened not too long ago, like last month. The fire that they called the Tick Fire, that was actually in the Santa Clarita area. Uh-oh, my document's trying to shut down on me. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if gun control is the answer. I really don't. Because not everybody who is doing whatever they're doing as far as gaining these guns and killing people, it's not always that they have a mental illness. They, are a chemical imbalance. It's what's going on inside of them. But for a 15-year-old, clearly something is going on. Something is clearly going on. I mean, his brain isn't even fully developed, And you have so many emotions that are going on with boys, when they're going through puberty, and they do have a lot of aggression and everything that's in them, and you have to get them involved in things that will help them to let out that energy in a positive way. But I mean, this whole thing is just crazy, guys. While the rest of the country is watching these stupid impeachment hearings, here in Southern California, we're dealing with yet another school shooting. Thankfully, it wasn't a whole bunch of kids that got caught up. But it doesn't matter. Somebody's child went to school this morning and is not going home today. That's what I'm saying. Think about it. If you go all the way back to the Columbine shootings, which unfortunately was the first one, then you were dealing with kids who had been bullied and kind of felt like they were outcast and everything. And a lot of things happens to some of these kids and they react in a very adverse way. I mean, it's just different from when we were growing up. It's different than, because they have social media and all of this stuff. Kids can be behind computer keyboards saying all kinds of awful things. And then you have a kid who may not be mentally stable flip out. I'm not saying that's what happened in this situation because we don't know. But you can just imagine something set this kid off. That he came to school with a firearm and commenced to shooting. No, you didn't have to worry about anything like that happening. You didn't have to worry about your child's safety when they were at school. You didn't have to worry about when you sent your child off to college, whether it was going to be a shooting on the college campus. You know? And I mean, they just this week have been talking about, on another note, the rate of suicide or deaths of students at USC. That's also here in Southern California. And now they're finding that some of those are drug related, you know, where these kids are committing suicide in their dorm rooms or their apartment rooms in college. It's just sad. I'm like, but we as a nation do not deal with people with mental health seriously. We don't take it seriously. We don't look at signs a lot of the time, especially with our kids. And boys hold a lot in and are non-communicative, you know. You don't know. And I don't know why they put out the ethnicity of the student, like that made any difference. But they said he's Asian. Or he looks Asian. Let's put it like that. Because they don't know. Yeah, exactly. Instead of planning the holidays, there are some parents that are planning a funeral right now. They're planning a funeral right now. And then now the school has to think about how they're going to go forward so that the students feel safe on campus. Because there's only 2 high schools up there in that area. You got Saugus, and then you got Santa Clarita. And this, I believe, happened on, I think it was on the Saugus High School campus. But there was an elementary school and a middle school on either side of that school. So there was, and then of course you had Santa Clarita High. So you've got 3 other schools that are in close proximity to the school that the shooting happened at. So those schools also went on lockdown. Well, see, and then you have to think about, we've been talking about medications that they start giving to a lot of kids when they're younger, for behavioral issues. And those medications that they give these kids are for mental issues. So then potentially you have a child that may not have had mental issues, but now you create a chemical imbalance in them later. It's going to be interesting to see what they say about this child. But because we're dealing with a child, they have to be careful about what information they give out. Because it's a child that we're dealing with, not an adult who did this. That's what I'm saying. I don't know why they even put that part out there. It didn't really even matter. They could have been black, white, pink, purple. It was a child. It was a child killing another child. And then you have to wonder, how did a 15-year-old get a gun? Especially in that particular area, because this is out in the suburbs. We're not talking about in the city. It's out in the suburbs. So it shouldn't even be happening. And it shouldn't even be happening at a school. We shouldn't even have to be worrying about our children when they go to school. We shouldn't have to worry about that. When they go to nursery school, when they go to elementary school, when they go to middle school, when they go to high school, when they go to college. Hey, AKA James, how are you? Yeah, I'm talking about the shooting that happened here in Southern California today at a high school. 3 kids are dead, or 3 kids were injured. One of them is deceased. A girl. Hey, Blake. Guys, don't forget to smash that like button. I can't see anything because I'm on Streamlabs. But yeah, it's not even safe out there for the kids. It's not safe for them at all. And, you know, while the rest of y'all, like I said, are watching the impeachment hearings, we have yet another school shooting. Another school shooting. And gun control to me is not the answer. But we definitely need to take mental health seriously, especially with our young people. Especially with our young people. Because they are dealing with stuff that we didn't deal with. They're dealing with stuff that we did not have to deal with at all. You know? Cyberbullying, kids hiding behind a computer, you know, and if you're just a little bit different, you get teased, and everybody wants to be the popular kid. Everybody wants to be the popular kid. High school is rough. It shouldn't be so rough. It shouldn't be so rough that you have to fear for your life. I just, you know, wonder what could have possibly been going on with a 15-year-old that he felt the need to bring a gun to school and start shooting. It is such a sad situation. Man, you know, and it's like, this is what I woke up to. You know, basically, as soon as I turned on the news this morning, which is why I don't like to turn on the news first thing in the morning. This was on first thing this morning. And then I had to send my son, who's special needs, out to his job. And pray that he's safe. Yes, guys, get to know, if you don't know the other people in the live stream, please feel free. All of you guys are my friends. But, yeah, I mean, I'm like, it's less than a year. It's only a year since the last shooting here in Southern California. I mean, last week was the anniversary of the Borderline shooting, you know, and then you have to think about a month before that, like in September, it was the anniversary of what happened in Las Vegas. We have got to start on a national level dealing with people's mental health. Yep. Because kids can be mean. Bella Dumb Queen, they can be mean. And I'm not going to even say, it's not just kids who are considered neurotypical who are mean. Kids on the spectrum can be mean to other kids on the spectrum. You know? Because kids are kids. You know? It's sad but true. You know? And the bullying, and you don't know how kids are going to react to that. I'm not saying that that's what happened in the situation with this kid, because we don't know what happened. But something happened. Something happened. Either at home or at school or somewhere else that caused this kid to feel a need to come to school with a gun. Something happened. You know, and y'all know I don't normally come on live stream in the daytime, but yeah. I couldn't wait till nighttime to talk about this, you know, especially since really, if you're not in Southern California, you probably won't hear about it until tonight. Because the rest of y'all are being inundated with the impeachment hearings. It's all over social media too. You know, but like I said, I pray that this student, number one, that he didn't take his life, so that we can find out why this happened. Because a lot of times the person then turns around and takes their own life, and then you don't even know why they did what they did. I totally believe that too. I totally believe that too. You know, I mean, because of my son's situation, even though he's an adult, I'm all up in his business. All up in his business. Still. Because I have to be. You know, but when he was a kid, I was all up in his business. And, you know, when, you know, you can give your kids a certain amount of privacy, obviously, because you want them to become independent. But you really need to know what's going on in their lives and be that nosy parent and pry and figure out what's going on. And figure out, you know, if they suddenly change how they're acting, become subdued and introverted, and they were not that way before. You know, but they don't think about the fact that kids could have mental things going on with them. You know, because of how they're handling things, because their brains are not fully developed and they still have to figure things, you know, process stuff. And I mean, but kids deal with being depressed, deal with being suicidal over things that to probably you and I are not that big a deal, but they can be major when you're a teenager, because everything is just larger than life in the mind of a teenager. Everything is larger than life in the mind of a teenager. But you have so many parents that are not aware. You know, because even if you have the kid that's a good kid and, you know, everything's going, you know, everything appears to be going perfect with them, you still need to be all up in there. You still need to be all up in their Kool-Aid. Because if it comes out that this child acquired that gun from at the house, you know his parents are going to be held responsible. Hi, Keeping Up with Popo. How are you? I would say happy Thursday, but it's not really a happy Thursday for me because we just had another school shooting here in Southern California. Another school shooting. A child taking another child's life. I mean, 15. Man, when I was 15, I was worried about turning 16 to get my driver's license. Or to get my permit, rather. That's what I was worried about. You know, but our kids have so much more to worry about. I mean, you got kids that have to worry about being outed, about, you know, their sexuality, or, you know, just all kinds of stuff. Kids can be teased because, you know, they're different. Teased because they're not smart. Teased because they're really, really smart. You know? I don't even understand this. I don't even understand this one, you know? And why does this keep happening? It's like as soon as you are kind of to the point of, you know, thinking things are going to be a little bit better, it happens at another school. It happens at another school. You know, and hopefully something will be said about this on a national level today, and we won't be just hearing about the impeachment that is ongoing. You know, I heard what I wanted to hear. I heard part of it yesterday, and I'm sure today is just a continuation of that. But I'll say, like I said on my live stream last night, because I live in the state of California, where Me Too is alive and well. When we do our sexual harassment training this year, I had to do like a 4-hour training. And it had an extensive section in there on quid pro quo. So I kind of know what that is. And even if they want to downplay that, it is what it is. So I'm at the point that, yeah, let's see what you're going to do about it. You know, but I'm going to get ready to get off of here because I just came on for a minute, you guys. And I will be back on later tonight, you know, at my normal time. And at that time, hopefully I'll have more information in regards to this. But definitely pray for the folks in the Santa Clarita area here in Southern California, and pray for those students at that high school. And as always, guys, peace from the West Side. I'll see you guys later. Bye.